Mr. Gates.
The will of the American people also elected Donald Trump to be the president of the United States in the 2016 election, and there's one party that can't seem to get over it. Now, we understand the fact that in 2018, you took the House of Representatives, and we haven't spent our time during your tenure in power trying to remove the Speaker of the House, trying to delegitimize your ability to govern. Frankly, we'd love to govern with you. We'd love to pass USMCA. We'd love to put out a helping hand to our seniors and lower prescription drug prices. It's the will of the people you ignore when you continue down this terrible road of...
All right, so you're scrolling through your feed, maybe catching up on the news, and suddenly every political commentator, every journalist, every talking head is losing their minds about what's happening in Washington right now. And I'm not talking about your typical Capitol drama. I'm talking about a full-blown meltdown that's got both parties scrambling, cabinet members apparently turning on Trump, and impeachment threats flying around like confetti at a parade. Yeah, you heard that right. Impeachment, again. Now look, I know what you're thinking. Here we go again with the impeachment talk, right? But this time it's different. This time we've got reports, actual reports of Trump's own cabinet officials flipping on him. We've got Congress in complete chaos. We've got leaked documents. We've got senators breaking ranks. We've got the longest government shutdown in U.S. history dragging on, while behind closed doors, the House Oversight Committee is quietly building what one source called a bomb. Can you believe this? But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. And here's the thing that's driving everyone absolutely crazy. While the public is focused on the shutdown, while people are worried about their government paychecks and national parks being closed, Congress is apparently preparing something way bigger, something that could shake Trump's entire second term to its core. So the House Oversight Committee, these are the folks who are supposed to be investigating government waste and corruption. They've been working on something in secret. And according to reports from Yahoo News just yesterday, they're not playing around. They've been gathering evidence, talking to witnesses, building a case. And the timing? Oh, the timing is perfect. Right as the government shutdown is ending, right as everyone's attention is elsewhere, boom, they drop this. Now here's where it gets really wild. We're hearing from multiple sources that several cabinet members, people Trump personally appointed, people who are supposed to be loyal to him, are cooperating with investigators. Social media is absolutely exploding with rumors about who's flipping, who's staying loyal, and who's secretly recording conversations. Twitter is a mess. Truth Social is a war zone. And MAGA world is in full panic mode trying to figure out who the leakers are. And look, I've covered Trump controversies for years now. I've seen the Russia investigation. I've seen both impeachments. I've seen January 6th. I've seen the documents case. But this feels different, because this time it's not coming from Democrats. It's not coming from the media. It's coming from inside his own administration. Think about that for a second. The people he chose, the people he trusted, the people who were supposed to be running the government alongside him, they're apparently turning on him. And the fallout is spectacular. Reuters reported just a few days ago that MAGA-aligned influencers and media figures are pushing what they call damaging narratives to try to control the story. They're trying to get ahead of whatever's coming. They're attacking Democrats. They're attacking the media. They're attacking anyone who questions the administration. It's the classic Trump playbook. Go on offense, create chaos, change the subject. But here's the problem. You can't change the subject when your own cabinet is leaking to...
There's a Democrat moving forward with this resolution to impeach President Trump as well.
Yeah, and that resolution doesn't look like it has the buy-in even from his fellow Democrats. So this member of Congress has put this resolution on the floor. He's a House Democrat, Sri Tenlander. He has put it on the floor. It will be tabled most likely in a vote tonight, because Democratic leadership have signaled that they will join Republicans, and Democratic members of the House will as well, to table this motion to impeach President Trump.
Congress. In Congress itself, total disaster. 8 senators just broke with their own party over the shutdown deal. The House is divided. The Senate is paralyzed. Nobody can agree on anything. And now with these impeachment threats heating up, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire that was already out of control. So why does this matter? Why should you care about another Washington drama when we've seen so many of these before? Because this isn't just about Trump. This is about whether our government can function at all. This is about whether cabinet officials can just turn on a sitting president. This is about whether Congress can investigate a president from their own party. And this is about what happens when the most powerful office in the world becomes a revolving door of chaos and betrayal. The stakes are massive. We're talking about potential impeachment during Trump's second term. We're talking about cabinet members possibly testifying against him. We're talking about leaks and lies and loyalty tests and purges. We're talking about a government that can barely keep itself open while simultaneously trying to investigate its own leader. And the craziest part, we're only in the first year of his second term. Like he's got potentially 3 more years of this. How does anyone survive that? How does an administration function when everyone's looking over their shoulder, wondering who's recording them, who's leaking to Congress, who's going to be the next one to flip? The answer is it doesn't. It just implodes. And that's exactly what we're watching happen right now. So buckle up, because what I'm about to break down for you is going to explain exactly how we got here, who's involved, what they're hiding, and why this whole situation could explode into the biggest political crisis of Trump's presidency. And trust me, that's saying something considering everything else that's happened. Let's dive in. Okay, so let me back up and give you the full picture here, because the media is doing what they always do. They're giving you bits and pieces. They're focusing on the drama, but they're not explaining how all these pieces fit together. And trust me, when you see the full story, it's going to blow your mind. First, let's talk about the government shutdown, because that's not just background noise. That's actually a huge part of what's happening here. The shutdown has been going on for weeks now. It's officially the longest in U.S. history. Federal workers aren't getting paid. Government services are shutting down. National parks are closed. And why? Because Congress can't agree on a budget. Republicans want one thing, Democrats want another, and Trump is stuck in the middle, making demands that nobody can meet. Now here's where it gets interesting. While everyone is focused on the shutdown, while the news is covering soap stories about federal workers missing paychecks and TSA agents calling in sick, the House Oversight Committee is working overtime. And I mean that literally. These folks are pulling all-nighters, interviewing witnesses, reviewing documents, building their case. And what case is that? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? According to Yahoo News, the committee has been investigating potential corruption, abuse of power, and conflicts of interest within the Trump administration. And their sources? Cabinet officials, current sitting cabinet officials, who are apparently so fed up with what they're seeing that they're willing to risk everything to blow the whistle. Can you even imagine being in that position? You're a cabinet secretary, you've got a 6-figure salary, you've got power, you've got influence, and you're so disgusted by what's happening that you're willing to talk to Congress, knowing that if Trump finds out, your career is over, your reputation is destroyed. You might even face criminal charges for leaking classified information. That takes guts, or desperation, or both. Now, let's talk about the senators, because that 8-senator vote I mentioned, that's not just about the shutdown. That's about something way bigger. These 8 senators, and we're talking about both Republicans and Democrats here, they broke ranks to support a plan to reopen the government. But according to sources, the real reason they broke ranks is because they know what's coming. They know about the Oversight Committee investigation. They know about the cabinet leaks. And they're trying to distance themselves from Trump before the bomb drops. Smart move, honestly, because here's what nobody's talking about. If this investigation goes forward, if cabinet members actually testify, if they provide evidence of wrongdoing, we're not just looking at another scandal. We're looking at potential impeachment, and not the kind of impeachment where the House votes and the Senate acquits. We're talking about impeachment with actual cooperation from Republicans. Think about that. Trump survived 2 impeachments during his first term because Republicans stood by him. They circled the wagons. They protected him. But now we've got senators breaking ranks. Now we've got cabinet members flipping. Now we've got cracks in the foundation. And MAGA world knows it. That's why you're seeing this massive pressure campaign. Reuters reported that MAGA-aligned influencers and media figures are pushing false claims, attacking internal adversaries, creating what they call a lockstep message to cover for the leaks. They're doing damage control before the damage even happens. But here's the thing about damage control. It only works if you can control the narrative. And right now, the narrative is out of control. Social media is going absolutely crazy with speculation. Who's the leaker? Is it the Secretary of State? Is it the Attorney General? Is it someone in the Defense Department? Every day there's a new rumor, a new theory, a new alleged source. And Trump's team is scrambling to plug the holes. But you can't plug holes when you don't know where they are. Now let me hit you with something that's going to make this even more insane. According to multiple reports, some of these cabinet officials aren't just leaking information. They're actively cooperating with congressional investigators. They're sitting down for interviews. They're providing documents. They're making recordings. Yeah, recordings. Can you imagine being Trump right now? You're sitting in the Oval Office. You're having conversations with your cabinet. You're making decisions. You're giving orders. And in the back of your mind, you're wondering if someone's recording you. You're wondering if that meeting you just had is going to end up as evidence in an impeachment hearing. That's paranoia on steroids. And it's justified paranoia because apparently it's actually happening. Now, here's where the conspiracy theories start flying. And look, I'm not saying I believe all of this, but I'm telling you what people are saying. There's a theory going around that this whole thing is a deep state operation, that the cabinet officials who are flipping aren't actually Trump loyalists who got fed up. They're plants. They're people who were never loyal to begin with, who got into positions of power specifically to take him down. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing. Trump himself has been saying for years that the deep state is real, that there are people in government working against him, that he can't trust anyone. And now we've got cabinet officials, his own appointees, apparently proving him right. So is it a conspiracy? Or is it just a bunch of people who realize they're working for a president who's constantly pushing legal and ethical boundaries? I'll let you decide. But either way, the result is the same. Chaos. Complete and total chaos. Congress is paralyzed. The cabinet is in disarray. The White House is in lockdown mode. And the American people are watching the circus, wondering how the hell we got here. And the media? Oh, the media is having a field day. Every network, every newspaper, every podcast is covering this nonstop. Impeachment speculation is through the roof. Legal analysts are debating what charges could be brought. Political analysts are gaming out what happens if the House actually votes to impeach. But here's what they're not talking about. The timing. This is all happening at the worst possible time for Trump. The government shutdown is already making him look weak. His approval ratings are in the toilet. And now this? Now he's got to deal with cabinet members turning on him and impeachment threats while trying to keep the government running. It's almost like someone planned it this way. And maybe they did, because here's something else that's interesting. The House Oversight Committee didn't just wake up one day and decide to investigate Trump. They've been planning this. They've been coordinating with whistleblowers. They've been timing this release to maximize political damage. And it's working. Every day there's a new leak. Every day there's a new revelation. Every day Trump's position gets weaker and his enemies get stronger. It's like watching a slow motion car crash where you can see exactly what's going to happen, but you can't look away. In the Republican Party, they're in full-on panic mode because they know that if this investigation produces real evidence, if cabinet members testify under oath, if documents come out showing corruption or abuse of power, they're going to have to make a choice. Do they stick with Trump and risk going down with him? Or do they abandon him and risk alienating his base? There's no good option. It's political suicide either way. So what do? They hedge. They make vague statements. They say they need to see the evidence before making a judgment. They try to thread the needle between loyalty and self-preservation. But threading that needle is getting harder every day. All right, so let's break this down into simple terms because I know I just threw a lot at you. Let me give you the core story in bite-sized pieces so you can really understand what's happening here. Point 1, the government shutdown is not just about budget fights. It's cover for a massive investigation happening behind the scenes. While everyone's focused on federal workers missing paychecks and national parks being closed, the House Oversight Committee has been building a case against Trump, and their evidence is coming from inside his own administration. That's not speculation. That's what Yahoo News reported yesterday. The Oversight Committee has been working on this for weeks, maybe months, and they're getting ready to go public. Point 2, cabinet officials are cooperating with Congress. We're not talking about low-level staffers or disgruntled former employees. We're talking about current cabinet secretaries, people with access to classified information, people who sit in meetings with the president, people who know where the bodies are buried, and they're talking. Now, we don't know exactly who these officials are yet. The reports are keeping their identity secret for obvious reasons. But the fact that multiple sources are confirming this tells you it's real. This isn't just one person with an axe to grind. This is multiple people in multiple departments all coming to the same conclusion that what they're seeing is wrong enough to risk everything. Think about what that means. These are people who passed FBI background checks, people who were confirmed by the Senate, people who are supposed to be the most trustworthy, most loyal, most qualified individuals in government, and even they can't stomach what's happening. Point 3. This is causing massive fractures in Congress. Those 8 senators who broke ranks on the shutdown vote, that's just the beginning. Sources say more senators are quietly preparing to distance themselves from Trump if this investigation produces real evidence of wrongdoing. And here's the key thing. Republicans know that if they defend Trump and he ends up being guilty of whatever the Oversight Committee is investigating, they're going down with him. Their political careers are over. So they're hedging their bets. They're leaving themselves room to jump ship if necessary. That's not loyalty. That's survival. And from Trump's perspective, that's betrayal. Point 4, the pressure campaign is real and it's desperate. MAGA influencers and media figures are working overtime to discredit anyone who questions Trump. They're pushing conspiracy theories about deep state plans. They're attacking the media. They're attacking Congress. They're attacking anyone and everyone who might be a threat. Reuters documented this whole operation. It's coordinated, it's well-funded, and it's everywhere. Turn on conservative talk radio, it's there. Check Truth Social, it's there. Go on Twitter, it's there. The message is always the same. Trump is innocent, his enemies are liars, and anyone who says otherwise is part of the conspiracy. But here's the problem with that strategy. It only works if people believe you. And right now, with cabinet officials leaking information and senators breaking ranks, fewer and fewer people are buying it. The cracks are showing, the narrative is falling apart, and no amount of spin can fix that. So where does this go from here? What happens next? Well, let me give you a few scenarios. Scenario 1, the Oversight Committee releases their findings and it's damning. Real evidence of corruption, abuse of power, whatever they've been investigating. The House votes to impeach, and this time, enough Republicans break ranks to make it actually dangerous. Maybe Trump doesn't get removed from office, but his presidency is crippled. He spends the rest of his term fighting impeachment instead of governing. Scenario 2. The findings are bad, but not catastrophic. Trump survives, but several cabinet members resign or get fired. The administration is in chaos for months. His agenda stalls, and Democrats run on this in the midterms, pointing to the dysfunction and corruption as reasons to vote them out. Scenario 3. The whole thing fizzles out. The Oversight Committee's investigation doesn't produce a smoking gun. The cabinet leaks dry up. Trump claims vindication and goes on the offensive against his enemies. And we're right back where we started, with both sides more entrenched and more divided than ever. Which scenario happens? Honestly, I don't know. Nobody knows, because this situation is unprecedented. But here's what I do know. This is not normal. This is not how government is supposed to work. Whether you love Trump or hate Trump, whether you think this investigation is justified or a witch hunt, the fact remains that we've got a president who apparently can't trust his own cabinet, a Congress that can't function, and a country that's more divided than ever. And it's only going to get worse before it gets better. Because here's the thing nobody wants to admit, even if Trump survives this, even if the impeachment doesn't happen or doesn't succeed, the damage is done, the trust is broken, the cabinet is compromised, and every decision, every policy, every action from here on out is going to be seen through the lens of this controversy. How do you govern when you can't trust the people around you? How do you lead when your own party is hedging their bets? How do you move forward when every day brings a new leak, a new scandal, a new crisis? You don't. You just try to survive. And that's where we are right now. Trump is in survival mode. His administration is in survival mode. And the American people are watching this train wreck in real time, wondering if anyone's actually steering the ship or if we're all just passengers on a vessel headed for the rocks. The whole situation is insane when you step back and look at it. Like, this is the United States government we're talking about, the most powerful country in the world, and we can't even keep the lights on without it turning into a constitutional crisis. Come on. So what should you take away from all this? First, this story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. The Oversight Committee investigation is ongoing. More leaks are probably coming, and the impeachment speculation is only going to intensify as more information comes out. We're in the early stages here, and it's already this chaotic. Imagine what it's going to be like in a month, or 2 months, or 6 months. Second, pay attention to who's staying loyal and who's jumping ship. The senators and cabinet members making moves right now are telling you something. They're reading the tea leaves, they're looking at the evidence, and they're making calculated decisions about their political futures. When rats start leaving the ship, you know the ship is sinking. Third, don't believe everything you hear. There's so much misinformation flying around right now, so many conspiracy theories, so many people pushing narratives that serve their interests. Do your own research. Look at the sources. Think critically. Just because someone on Twitter says a cabinet member is flipping doesn't mean it's true. Just because a MAGA influencer says it's all a hoax doesn't mean it's false. Get the facts. Use your brain. And finally, remember that this affects all of us. This isn't just Washington drama. This is about how our government functions, how our leaders are held accountable, and whether our system can survive this level of dysfunction and division. Because let's be real, if we can't figure out how to govern ourselves, if we can't find a way to work together, if every administration is going to be defined by investigations and impeachments and leaks and chaos, what's the point? How does democracy survive that? Heavy stuff, I know, but that's where we are. That's the reality we're living in, and pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone. So keep your eyes open, stay informed, question everything, and get ready, because the next few weeks, maybe the next few months, are going to be absolutely wild. This story is just getting started, and if the last few years have taught us anything, it's that things can always get crazier. Always. I'll be back soon with more updates as this story develops, because trust me, it's going to develop fast. New leaks will drop, new revelations will come out, and the political fallout is going to be massive. Until then, stay skeptical, stay informed, and don't let anyone tell you what to think. Later.